Hey there, welcome to this edition of the Microsoft Cloud News Update, researching the cloud blogs so you don't have to. I'm Carl Kishel. We have a few updates for you this week, so let's jump right into it. Azure cost management updates. So some of this we reviewed previously on other updates, but wanted to call your attention to the new budget alerts and the ability to customize the language. So it used to be the case where your budget alerts would be represented to you in the language that you've designated in your portal using those default settings. But now you can customize the language up to 21 supported languages. So this is good for multinational organizations, multilingual, where more than one language is supported. And also, I found that a lot of folks just aren't aware of these budget alerts. So if you're not familiar with budget alerts, this provides you with the capability to create alerts if a particular resource in Azure goes over a specified threshold. So it alerts you that maybe a virtual machine or storage is exceeding a cost threshold that you've placed within an alert, and that alert will be fired off, send you an email, update the portal, etc. So there are a lot of other new updates regarding cost management. Definitely check out the blog post for more information. More IOPS at no additional cost for Azure files. So it used to be the case where the baseline for input output per second IOPS was around 100, and that increase is now to 400 baseline IOPS and bursting up to 4,000 IOPS. So new baseline is now 400 IOPS. That is at no additional cost. So definitely check out this post for Azure files, and this is at the premium tier where this increase has occurred. Check out the link for more info. A number of Azure Security Center updates have occurred over the last month, some of which we've covered, but I wanted to highlight a newer update regarding NIST compliancy and the dashboard. So let's click on that link and get a little bit deeper. So NIST 800 compliancy, if you are running a research organization or do a lot of work with the federal government, this is very important. And with these new regulatory compliances baked into the Security Center, will give you alerts in terms of whether or not your resources and the way you have them configured are being compliant within the NIST standard. So this is something new in Azure Security Center, and check out the blog post for it because it gets into a lot of detail on how to create these particular alerts and compliances within Azure Security Center. Regarding the Microsoft 365 roadmap, we have 7 new items in development since we last spoke, and wanted to call your attention to 2 that I think are fairly important. The first one here is regarding Microsoft 365 Compliancy Center and the ability to enable third-party data connectors. So this is currently in development. Release date is slated for March 2021. And this will provide you with the capability to leverage the Compliance Center within Microsoft 365 and attach third-party data using these connectors to systems like other instant messaging platforms, social media platforms, etc. So you can bring in these third-party entities and review them for compliance using the Compliancy Center features of Microsoft 365. The other update, kind of small but pretty interesting, regarding Outlook for Windows, every meeting online. So this is slated for release next month. And this update will provide you with the ability to create all your meetings within Outlook for Windows as a team meeting by default. So you don't have to remember to click on that link. So kind of a convenience for those of us who are doing remote work, remote learning these days, because most of our meetings are virtual, and this will soon be available. So all your default meetings will be Teams. Check out the roadmap link for more info. What's new in Microsoft Teams, November 2020 edition. A lot of this we've been covering over the last couple of weeks as these new features and releases were released. So this is a nice blog post that summarizes all the different happenings for Microsoft Teams within the last month. I wanted to call your attention to two in particular. The first one is highlighted here first, and that is AI-based noise suppression. So if you're not seeing this now, you will be seeing this shortly, probably the next time you update your Teams client. And this is the ability to cancel out background noise. And the video here gets into some detail on great examples of that working. The other updates in this post we've covered previously regarding the new iOS experience, what's new in calling, the new various devices, etc. But I wanted to scroll all the way down and kind of reiterate something I recently covered previously, and that is the ability to create Power Platform and PowerApps within the Teams environment. So if you missed that update, that's relatively new. And that ability to create the Power Apps within the Teams environment and not having to leave that environment. And also the ability to create Power Automate apps within Teams and simplify workflows with the Teams environment. So there are links here for more information, but if you're interested in creating custom apps, check the link out for more info. And last but not least, last update here, wanted to share with you an interesting app since it's that time of year, first week of December. A lot of you might be working out Secret Santa projects. So if you're doing this for work and wanted to call your attention to a Secret Santa Power App that a colleague here at Microsoft has developed, April Dunham. Thank you, April, for doing this and posting it on GitHub. Click on the link for more info, but if you're interested in using Power Apps within Teams to set up a Secret Santa, this app is pretty ingenious. It gets into the details of how the app works, manage the participants, and automatically and randomly assign a Secret Santa to the various participants within your Secret Santa. So check this out for more info. It's available on GitHub. And if you're new to Power Apps development, this is something you could definitely check out to get some hints and tips on how to get started with Power Apps. That concludes this week's edition of the Microsoft Cloud News Update. Please like, subscribe, share. Appreciate any feedback you would like to provide. You can find me on Twitter or LinkedIn. If you have any hints, tips, or feedback to share with me. Hope you enjoyed this week's update, and we look forward to catching up with you next week. Take care.